Joyride 1957, a novel of intrigue by J.P. Wassmiller, Chapter 64. At first glance, breakfast the next morning at the Lewis and Clark Hotel in Mandan, North Dakota, appeared like any other breakfast. But if one looked closely, there were a number of guests who were not regulars. For one, the lieutenant governor had never eaten here before, but was so famished he had the large Denver omelet with Canadian bacon, toast, and fruit. He had attended last evening's supper at the governor's mansion and left with Misty. He was not entirely sure what had transpired after that, but assumed the best or the worst, depending on one's point of view. To his relief, no one in the Lewis and Clark Hotel restaurant seemed to recognize him. He ate rapidly and exited the hotel and grabbed a taxi, which took him to his office. He wasn't sure if Misty's Chanel No. 5 aroma was on his clothes. He would ask his secretary, risking her anger, which would be better than risking that of his wife's. By 10:30, all of the agents on James' trail noticed that neither James nor Misty was at breakfast. AJ and BJ talked nervously in their booth. The KGB agent got up and got on the payphone in the lobby. The German and the Israeli, Rebecca, had met in the bar the evening before and shared a room and possibly more. They ate together and talked in low tones. Neither had seen or met James or Misty, but they did have pictures of James. Seeing he was not there, they talked at length about what to do next, but no one could come to a decision. Nor of the Times reporter and Veronica from the MI6 knew each other from an event in the city and caught up on old times as they ate. All watched each other out of the corner of their eye, hoping somebody would do something. After hanging up the payphone, the KGB agent was surprised to hear his phone ring again. He picked up the receiver after several rings. "Da," was all he said. Then he listened. "Do you know where James went?" the grainy voice said. "No, he isn't here. He hasn't checked out, but his room is empty. Neither is the CIA lady." "Train," the voice hung up. The agent thought a few moments as he stared across the street. The Mandan's train station stared back. He grabbed his case and walked quickly across the street to the station. Veronica and Rebecca noticed him go. They and their breakfast mates got up and followed him across the street. When they got there, the KGB agent was at the ticket window. Both the ticket agent and the KGB agent were waving their hands at one another. Finally, the KGB agent left and headed across the street to the Lewis and Clark Hotel. The others now knew where James had gone, and likely Misty too. The train ticket attendant was reluctant to give out any information, but after turning down $10, $20, and $50 bills, he eventually made about $500. He told all of them the same story. James had purchased 2 tickets on the North Coast Limited West from Mandan to Portland, Oregon. Most of them went back to their hotel rooms, packed, got in their cars, and headed west on U.S. Highway 10. Veronica and Nora, the reporter, decided to wait for the next train to Portland, which would arrive at 2:30 in the morning.